spirit. Before we get started, I'd love to invite Monica, where is she? Join me. And the reason I want to introduce Monica, I told her, she came across the chamber, and at the moment she is running a charity called Kids for Business, Kids in Business, which is basically it's a mirror to what the chamber is doing. And the focus and the energy that she's working on with her team is to plant that seed amongst our young generation. So Monica, I promise to give you 20, 30 seconds.
Hi everybody, thank you for having me. Thank you so much for inviting me and my partner Pena. So we are so excited to introduce Kids in Business. It's been a passion of mine for about 10 years. I used to train people and actually build businesses for adults. I did that for 15 years. And just looking at the kids right now and what they're focusing on, I think that it's time us adults step in and actually do something for the children. Life is very different now. 30 years ago, I would never actually even think about something like this. I'd be saying, let kids be kids, let them run, let them be free. But they're not doing that these days. They're quite addicted to their devices, and I think that if we're looking at them as future leaders of this country, it's a little bit scary. So what we decided to do is nurture the inner entrepreneur of these children. And in about 6 weeks, we've been mentoring children, about 50 of them at the moment, who are coming to our markets to launch their businesses on the 2nd of September. These kids are not just selling items, they are actually building business. They've done their own market research, they've done their own branding, naming their businesses, and they're ready to launch it on a little scale here in Western Sydney. But we've got so much support already. Our workshops are starting to fill up, and I think that the community is actually seeing that this is a really big requirement for our kids, especially if we want to see them lead us into the future. So we do invite you all to come on the 2nd of September to see these amazing little, we call them little legends, launch their businesses, and us adults are there to support them.
So, flyers that come to
yeah, we've got flyers and everything.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
And we have one more announcement from the Shopping Festival. Where's our gift paper? Again, from the Chamber, we are very keen to make sure that we can support all the other organisations and the community's activities.
Good evening. Great opportunity to come along. The 25th anniversary of the Canterbury Bankstown Children's Festival will be in Uguna on the 17th of September, and I notice some children up the back and here. Most welcome. We have from Scouts, I'm the State Commissioner for Scouts New South Wales, we have Chaos Circus to get your attention. Scouting, be a scout for 1 hour. So if you've got the time, come along and enjoy yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Before I invite the Mayor to say a few words and kickstart with the panel, I'd like to acknowledge our young leaders who are in the room. And it's important that we can bring our sons and daughters to come along to events such as this, because that's how we can empower and how we can plant the seed to make sure as kids be proud of their mum and dad about the activities and how they are, the journey they are embarking on. So I think tonight is a good example of a harmony, support, and a family attitude and entrepreneur mindset as well. So without further ado, I'd like to call on our Mayor Bilal to say a few words.
Thank you, Wally. I don't know I was speaking here, I thought I was speaking there, but can I start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land, paying my respect to elders, both past, present and emerging. Can I congratulate Wally on another fantastic event? Can I congratulate the university for being well and truly a part of the Bankstown community and holding these fantastic events. And to everyone that has come out here tonight, thank you for coming. You might not want to listen to me, but there's a few people on the panel tonight that will give you fantastic feedback on mentoring. And can I also acknowledge Kylie Wilkinson, the state member for East Hills. So I look forward to sharing a few words. I again want to thank Wiley because, you know, we have a fantastic chamber that does wonderful things. It is actually one of the best chambers in Australia, and that is credit to this bloke who's holding events, you know, every few weeks or every month. So thanks, Wiley, for what you do, and yeah, we're proud to be here at the chamber.
Thank you, first one. Anything we do, it's about team effort. So I'm only one person, but I can't do it on my own. It's a team that we understand that we work collectively together. Why mentoring is powerful. Mentors raise your confidence and problem-solving abilities. Along with developing leadership skills, having a mentor to advise and guide you can increase your confidence and help develop problem-solving skills. If you can, tonight we have a couple of realist scenarios. We've got father and son, and we have a corporate and a mentee, and obviously the mayor, and obviously we'd like to introduce Sophie later. So if I may introduce Alan Nofal and Jamie Nofal to grab the first two seats. Alan and Jamie, it's a family business. Smart East International. They specialise into HVAC and R industry. This is his whole life passion and is matched by his passion for family. With his father, they established Star East International in 1994, and that continued with his son to innovate and strive through the creation of long-term partnership and invaluable business ventures. Please acknowledge Alan and David. Tracy Alexakis has lived and breathed pharmacy all her life. She remembers spending her childhood in her dad's pharmacy as she watched him work and is proud to continue his legacy to provide patient-centered health and wellness advice to the community. Tracy is a board member of the Canterbury Bankstown Chamber of Commerce and currently the chair for the Entrepreneur Committee. Please welcome Tracy. Thank you, David. Next to David. Shivani Sundar is currently a fourth-year undergrad student completing a Bachelor of Business and Science Management, majoring in Human Resource Management and Applied Physics. Her motto in life would be to just take it easy one step at a time, and things will work out for you. Please welcome Shivani. Thank you, Tracy. And I'd like to acknowledge her mum and dad, which are here tonight. Sophie Partridge is an MBA candidate with 15 years experience in program management, stakeholder engagement and relationship communication, team leadership, facilitation and social inclusion. Sophie has experience working in public and higher education, largely with focus on leading, managing or consulting on programs and initiatives to build inclusion and engagement. And we are very delighted and honoured to have Sophie here tonight's evening. And please welcome Sophie and Mayor.
Check if mic's working. Everyone can hear me okay? Wonderful. Thank you, Wally. I might stand so I can look at our fantastic panel. I'd also like to acknowledge the direct people whose land this campus is built upon and pay my respects to elders past and present. I want to offer you all an incredibly warm welcome here to Western Sydney University. This is exactly why we built this building, was to be able to work with all of you, have all of you in an whole event like this. So we're just so pleased to have you here. My voice is going from shouting at the soccer. I promise. Anyone else been watching a lot of soccer the last few weeks? Yeah. So that's why. But you're not here listening to me, you're here listening to this absolutely incredible panel. So we did do a briefing last Friday, and I walked out of the Zoom room feeling, I think, 10% smarter after hearing from these wonderful people, and I'm sure you will feel the same when you leave. So, Wally has already spoken to you a little bit about the importance of mentoring. We're about to get into some questions that we have prepared. Then we will have some time at the end to open up for questions from the audience. So please, as we're going through, if something sparks in your mind and you would like to ask a question, we'll make sure there's time for that and invite you all to do that. And then we'll wrap everything up but I think everybody here probably feels very familiar with the idea of mentoring already. I can definitely say it's had probably the biggest impact on me in my life of anything else that I've done. All my education, all the other things, having that guide, having that person to support me, to go to and talk through problems, and to get ideas, to open doors, to introduce you to people. Mentoring is definitely for me, I think, been one of the most important influences, and I'm sure you're going to hear plenty from the folks here about that as well. So, we will get into the questions. The first question is, what led you to become a mentor, and why do you think mentoring is important? And I think to start it off, I believe the gentleman here is the youngest mayor in New South Wales, or the youngest mayor in Australia. So I think that's a good one. So an incredibly accomplished gentleman. So I think we'll go to you, Bilal, first. So what led you to become a mentor? Because I know you mentor people, and why you think mentoring is so important.
Oh, thanks, Sophie. Can I just want to say, from the get-go, before I came here about, good 3 months ago now, I used to work for the PCYC for about 10 years. That is working with young people, troubled kids, family support, and so on and so forth. So what led me to do this was I've always been involved in community. I wanted to give back to community as well. And I felt like if I could, help a young person through my journey, I'm already a winner. So I really wanted to give back, and I really wanted to be involved in community. I'm very passionate about community. So I got involved, and we did many programs and many projects, mentoring young people, specifically. By the way, how long do I have? 37. Alright, on to the next one. You let me know when I have to shut up. So just giving back to young people, growing up, as you mentioned earlier, there's two things that I reckon saved my life. One of them is having mentors to lead me along the way, and the other one was getting married. So these are the two things, and having someone you can always relate to and talk to, and someone who will listen to you is very important, because there's going to be times where you can't talk to your family. There's going to be things where you don't want people to know, so you've got to be a mentor. So basically, is just I always wanted to give back. I always wanted to help young people achieve what they want to achieve, and help guide them through that journey.
Beautiful, thank you. Great, and I think you touched on there something we all spoke about, which is mentoring. It can happen in so many areas of your life. It can be a friendship, it can be family, it can be business, education. So thank you very much. I would like to also put that question to Tracy. Tracy is the CEO. She's a pharmacist. She mentors university students. She does so much fantastic work. And Tracy, we'd love to hear from you. What led you to become a mentor, and why you think mentoring is so important?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming today. As you all know, I'm a community pharmacist, so like Bilal, my heart is centred in the community. One of the reasons I've mentored throughout my life is because I like to give back as well. I think it's so important, especially if you've had good opportunities in life and you're already one step ahead. You actually need to try and bring other people less fortunate as yourself and give them those opportunities as well, and become a sounding board and help them. I think particularly in our community here in Canterbury, Bankstown, we went through a lot through COVID. I know it's been said repeatedly. We're also part of a community that is one of the most diverse, with the most multicultural and linguistically diverse communities. I really think that some of our people here are very, very humble. We discussed this in our Zoom meeting, but very, very accomplished and very, very under the radar. And I do think that we need to let the whole of Sydney and New South Wales know how fantastic we are. So I do think that part of mentoring is bringing some of those people out and letting their light shine. I have a strong focus. I'm also on the Women's Committee for the Chamber, and we have a strong focus in supporting women within our community. I mentored for the university, and Shivani is my mentee, and I'm very proud to say that it was a really great experience for me, and meeting Shivani has been a great part of this year and part of my life, and I've enjoyed it. So I fell into mentoring when I left school. I was actually invited by my school to be a mentor back to young women from the school I attended. And then obviously, as Sophie said, through university, I've also become a mentor, both through my pharmacy degree. I had pharmacy students coming back to my practice, and I currently employ one of them. I just enjoy it, and I do recommend that everyone, if you have something to offer, give it a go. And I think it's really important as part of this community to really support this community and give back and encourage our young people, just like the lady who's created this business. Just give back and give our kids a chance. That's what I'd like to see happen with the mentoring.
Thank you. I'd like to do the as well. And I think, Tracy, talking of high achievers, I think we've got a gentleman down the end who, the more we found out about during the briefing session, the more impressed we were with everything he's achieved in his life. But before asking the question, Alan, how's work?
Well, like a lizard drinking.
Like a lizard drinking. Alan, could you tell us a bit about why you think mentoring is so important and what's made you become a mentor?
Thank you. It's a very important question to be a mentor. And it's something that you share knowledge, experience, and wisdom, and especially with the son growing a business. It's something that until you actually experience it, you see the results, you see the growth. And that's very important for me to be a mentor, but also reverse mentor as well. He teaches me things too as well. So, especially on the IT side and marketing, which I have good knowledge. So I'll keep it sweet, short and sweet.
Yeah, thank you. And I think, that's what I think what was great talking to Alan, and we'll get into this a bit later on, is Alan was so open to say what he learns as well, and we all start to talk about being a mentor is a fantastic experience, so we'll get more into that as well. Before we do though, I'd love to hear from the people who are currently being mentored and ask what kind of led you to seek a mentor and what's the impact that it's had on you. Shivani, can we start with you? So why did you get a mentor and what impact has it had?
For me, I was more concerned. It began as a B student with career aspirations, like where did I want to go with my career, and doing a double degree in HR and physics is two very different fields. So being in HR now, working in HR, I had an interest in science. I wanted to see what science was like, and so through the School of Business, through the Matrix mentoring program, it was a pilot program at the time, I met Tracy. I was matched with Tracy. And through Tracy, we had, she gave me so many wonderful opportunities to go see more about science and reality. We went to see the AIM Institute and see scientists in action, what they're doing. And it was really interesting to see if that's something that I'd be able to do eventually, if that's something I was really interested in, or if it was just a little bit of a fantasy. But yeah, it started off professionally. And then for me, I thought it was more of a professional, formal sort of type of relationship, but there's also a personal aspect to it too. You learn a lot about becoming more confident, growing out of your comfort zone, being more open-minded, and then you talk more about personal stuff with your mentor, obviously, and then just learning about your values with each other, what her values were, what my values were, and seeing how she handles her challenges and how I handle mine, and then figuring out what's the best solution to go forward in certain situations. I didn't realize that there was also that sort of aspect to it. So I felt like I really benefited from that personal aspect as well, not only the professional sort of aspect. But yeah.
That's great. Okay. Thank you, Siobhan. And Siobhan, you are studying here, not this campus, but this university. How many last years? Yes. Thanks, Siobhan. So now we're going to Jaden, we've already revealed the family connection, Alan's son. And Jaden, we'd love to hear from you, like, what made you seek out a mentor and what impact has it had on you?
So hi guys, my name is Jaden. My father and I are part of our family business located in Pastor, so I'd just like to say thank you for the opportunity from the Chamber and Wally and the amazing panel for this evening. So to answer your question, which is a really good question, is the aspect of motivation. So what impact has it been for me to have actually a mentor in my life like my father? So imagine rocking up to work and having somebody there, whether it be your father, whether it be somebody, but imagine having your father, your bloodline, someone there that has grown next to you, has guided you from such a young age to be there Monday to Friday, probably 24 hours a day. So it's instilled a very important aspect, in my opinion, known as motivation. So making business decisions that are backed by experience. And that hasn't only just come to me one day, it's actually been passed on. And it's been passed on from my grandfather who started that company about 50 years ago. And that's been transformed into the knowledge that my father has today. And now that's been passed on to me, and it could be passed on to my future family in the future. So that's the most important thing for me, is the aspect of motivation, someone being there to just constantly fuel that business decision. Someone that can be next to you during a time where you may be experiencing very high levels of cognitive dissonance in making an actual decision. Especially being a young person, you're faced with many external influences, such as social influences, your friends. Social media is a massive one these days as well. Customers, ever-changing technology in the marketplace. So having a mentor like my father has been an absolute pleasure. And this is only the beginning. And there's a lot to look forward to. And I won't give you too much longer, but an example of this can be seen where my father and pretty much the family business put me in the deep end from the very beginning. And the example of that can be seen where our HVAC company had a stand in Brisbane, I think in 2015. So that was not too long ago, but if you think about it, it is in a way. Time is flying these days. So I was actually put on the stand at around 14, 15 years old, answering to maybe people that are probably double, quadruple my age, right? Trying to just show what our company is about, and that's where my marketing background and passion has always come from. So that's pretty much where it comes from. So it's motivation, it's not being afraid to ask a question. It can be quite frightening for many young people, probably even younger than me, especially now with the presence of social media and TikTok and Instagram, a lot of social influences that may allow people not to feel that it's okay to ask a question. But if you don't ask, you won't know, right? So yeah, thank you.
Beautiful. So beautiful to hear from both of you. It's not just about career, what should I do next? It's about values, about decision making, motivation, confidence, such important things that you're talking about there, rather than just purely opening doors or making introductions. So that's beautiful. Thank you. What we'll move on to now, and I'm going to come back to Bilal for this question. If you could tell us who's been your most influential mentor and how they helped you.
That's a tough one because I've had a few, but without a doubt, my father, who's now passed away, was my biggest mentor. Every time I needed something, he was there. God bless your dad. It was always my father who I could always turn back to and talk to, and he knew where I wanted to go, and he was always along that journey. So, that's from a family perspective, but you can also have more than one mentor. So, politically, being involved in politics, I've got someone who mentors me politically as well. I won't say what it is. I needed advice a few weeks ago. I got in a bit of trouble. and I needed advice politically on how I can do certain things and navigate through it. So I reached out to a friend of mine who's actually my mentor, who's a federal employee, and he said to me, "You do 1, 2, 3," and here we are. In the next couple of weeks, I'll be doing 1, 2, 3 to get out of trouble. So it's not a huge problem, but yeah. So everyone, politically, you have a mentor. It could be a religious figure, right? It could be someone that you connect with. Sometimes, as I mentioned earlier, it's hard to have a family member. There's certain things you don't want to talk to them about. So you can go to a religious figure that you have a very close connection with, or you can go to for me politically, I go to one person all the time. So there's more than one person that could guide you along the way. But as mentioned earlier as well, it works both ways, where sometimes you're also learning from the other person, but at the same time, you're teaching the other person. So it works both ways. These are the 3 biggest people. I won't mention who the politician is. These are the biggest 3 people that have had impact on me. Even being mentioned earlier, being one of the youngest mayors in Australia, it comes with a lot of weight as well. A lot of younger people look up to you and so on and so forth. I even, as mayor, I connect all the time with mayors that are much older than me, just to work with them and say, look, I've got this issue in my council, how do I fix it? Or I might come across this, how do you guys navigate through these things in your work area? You can have many mentors. It's not about having the one mentor only, but just about what specific topic you want to, discuss with this person is also important. Yeah.
Thank you. You've done all be very, very proud of you. And I think that point you just made there about going to someone for a certain thing, you can have many mentors, it can be formal, but it could be informal as well to get that support and guidance. So thank you, that's great. I'm going to throw that question now to Alan actually as well. Is there an influential mentor that you've had, Alan?
Rocky. Before you get back up again. That's life, right?
If you like to do it.
My dad too, man. My dad's still alive, and he's older now, but when I get stuck and I sort of don't know how to steer the ship, the ship that I have to steer in his family business, I seek Dad's approval and all. But then I do have other motivational theorists that I've looked at in the past for management and stuff like that. You've got, I'm not going to get into it now, but you've got like Porter and a few others that we rely on in business, motivational people that we look up to, setting your goals, and then asking my mentor, my father, or I've got Warren, an old engineer, helps me out. Allows us to think straight and make that decision, because the decision could be, but as a mentor, your experience, the decisions you made in your life, you can give that to Jaden. You can give that to Jaden, for example. Still working. Yeah. So you give that information and that knowledge and that strength, and as a mentor to Jaden. But sometimes you've got to be careful too. So that's why reverse mentoring is ask the questions, speak to each other, have confidence with each other. It's got to be a good relationship as well. So I think I've answered the question.
Thank you. Yeah. And this, I'm going to ask Shivani the same question, but your mentor on the panel, so it sounds like a loaded question. Your most influential mentor.
Well,
yeah.
Well, obviously Tracy, beginning our relationship was pretty new. We only met each other last year around November, December. So it's been a couple months since then, but she has been incredible again in the professional sense and in the personal sense. Like, it's been amazing to just talk to someone again outside of my family related to, and I can just talk to her about my issues, and she gives me so much more insight that allows me to adopt that and then be like, okay, you know what, just calm down and think about it in a different sense, and it's not that big a deal right now, little things like that. But another mentor I would say against that panel, like my parents, like being migrants and coming into Australia, culture is completely different compared to India, and then growing a stable family and career here, and while it's all